Welcome to my channel, The Historic State. Before we dive into the extraordinary story of sacrifice that silenced an entire Marine Corps camp, take a second to hit that like button and subscribe right now. Your support is the only thing that keeps these legendary stories of true courage alive. Now, let's talk about the Crucible. The military boot camp is a place designed to burn away weakness and forge a weapon. In this world of lean, chiseled soldiers, what happens when a man is defined not by his speed or his strength, but by his bulk? When his very presence is a joke, a liability, a walking symbol of failure? Today, we bring you the extraordinary story of a recruit everyone mocked, a man who carried the weight of scorn with every step. The ambitious drill instructor, DI, wanted to break him, to force him out of the Corps. But in the chaos of a single, catastrophic second, that recruit transformed his greatest weakness into an indestructible shield. He performed an act of reflexive courage that didn't just save a life, it redefined the meaning of the word Marine. Our story begins at Parris Island, the legendary training ground where United States Marines are made. Among the ranks of sweat-soaked, disciplined young men was recruit Leo Thompson. They didn't call him Leo, they called him Tank. And it wasn't a compliment. Thompson was a constant, glaring deviation from the standard. He was heavier, slower, constantly lagging. His uniform was stretched, his breathing heavy. For the drill instructors, he was an anomaly. For his fellow recruits, he was a debilitating drain on their collective punishment. The man responsible for breaking Thompson, or fixing him, was drill instructor Gunnery Sergeant Sterling, a legend of combat tours and unforgiving discipline. Sterling saw Thompson as a moral stain on his platoon, a visible sign of failure. This was the precise detachment that made Sterling an excellent DI, but one that blinded him to Thompson's core. And Thompson bore the brunt of this focused hostility. Every stumble, every slow response, every ounce of extra weight was met with a brutal wave of verbal and physical discipline. The other recruits, pushed to the breaking point, openly resented him, their whispered threats and insults an additional layer of psychological warfare. Thompson was isolated, friendless, and pushed to the absolute verge of quitting. But still, he stayed. Nin. The ultimate test of composure and precision arrived. The live fragmentation grenade range. Here, there was no room for error. A failure here meant immediate, absolute disaster. Every Marine knew the grim mathematics of a fragmentation grenade. A 2-second fuse after the pin is released, a devastating blast radius. Gunny Sterling, his usual theatrics absent, was focused, his eyes moving constantly. He stood behind each recruit in the shallow trench, a necessary safety measure against a rookie mistake. This was a realm of absolutes. Throw it or die. Netson followed the motions flawlessly. He removed the pin, primed his arm for the throw, and executed the lob. But years of conditioning, the cumulative fatigue, the sheer physical strain of his body fighting the motion, took their toll. The throw was weak. In the annals of military training, there is no sound more terrifying than the hiss of a live grenade at your feet. For 300 milliseconds, absolute silence reigned. Every man froze. The surrounding range officers, the recruits in the adjacent trenches, they all saw the dark orb rolling to a stop, 3 feet from Thompson's boots. And NDI Sterling, the man of steel, the veteran of a dozen close-quarter firefights, was momentarily paralyzed. He was already shouting an order to run, an instinctive survival command. But there was no time. Less than 2 seconds remained. He hesitated. Nan Thompson had his chance. He could have reacted like any human being, any civilian, and desperately scrambled out of the trench. The insults, the emotional pain, the exhaustion, he could have let them make the decision for him. But Thompson didn't move to save himself. The man everyone saw as a liability, the recruit who was defined by his inability to move fast, performed an act of chillingly swift, impossible reflex. Nin. With a speed that defied his frame, Thompson didn't just push Sterling. He slammed the drill instructor hard into the dirt floor of the trench, forcing him down and covering him with his body. He positioned his own massive torso and dense flesh directly over the grenade, creating a human blast shield. The very weight that had earned him scorn, the sheer, immovable bulk of Leo Thompson, was now the only thing standing between the fragmentation grenade and the life of the man who despised him. He had compartmentalized fear. A heavy, bewildered silence descended, broken only by the ringing in the ears of the survivors. Range officers rushed to the trench. The scene they found was something ripped from a legend. D.I. Sterling emerged first, stunned, disoriented, but miraculously unharmed. The only physical toll was the weight of Thompson's body and the overwhelming psychological shock. He was alive because Thompson's body had absorbed the entire downward concussive force and almost all of the lethal fragmentation. Nen Thompson was alive, but barely. His body, the very instrument of his shame, had become the instrument of salvation. The fragments that would have instantly killed Sterling, shattering bone and vital organs, had been swallowed by the dense muscle and fat of recruit tank Thompson. Nen D.I. Sterling did not see a failure. He saw a man whose unshakable composure under fire and precision of action had saved his life. He saw the very embodiment of the Marine Code. Nen Thompson's recovery was long and arduous, but the moment his eyes opened, the entire boot camp had already changed. The story spread like wildfire. The charges of unsuitability were instantly dismissed. When D.I. Sterling finally came to his bedside, he didn't offer apologies or platitudes. He did the one thing that mattered in their world. He stood at the foot of the bed, his back ramrod straight, and rendered a slow, deliberate salute to recruit Thompson. Nen Thompson's body would forever carry the scars. But he taught everyone a brutal, undeniable lesson. The mind of a soldier is not measured on a scale, but in the seconds of absolute terror. He proved that true strength is not the absence of weakness, but the willingness to turn that weakness into a superhuman act of sacrifice. Recruit Leo Thompson's quick-thinking sacrifice silenced every sneer, every insult, and every doubt cast upon his ability. He demonstrated the ultimate skill of a Marine, the ability to execute the mission even when the cost is your own life. Thank you for watching The Historic State. If this story of the ultimate shield and the silence it brought to the entire camp moved you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell us, what is the true measure of a soldier? Because here we believe that true power is not in the size of the weapon you carry, but in the size of the heart willing to step in front of the explosion.